I'd like to go through some of the procedures we follow in the courtroom. These procedures shouldn't be available to you in the pamphlet as you enter the courtroom. We take people on a first-come, first-served basis. When your case is called, please come forward. It's plea night, so I'll be asking you to enter a plea of guilty, not guilty, or no contest. If you enter a no contest or guilty plea, I'll review your citation. If there's a factual basis, I'll find you guilty and impose an appropriate forfeiture. A plea of no contest is similar to a guilty plea, but a conviction arising from a no contest plea cannot be used against you in a subsequent civil action. Let me explain that. Say if you get involved in a traffic accident and receive a citation, if you enter a no contest plea of that traffic citation, that person can't use that no contest plea against you if they later sue you for damages arising out of that accident. Forfeiture ranges from $20 to $1,000. However, almost all are within the $50 to $200 range. The state mandates that we add costs to your forfeiture. For example, $50 forfeiture will result in a total fine for you of $124. I'll grant you 30 days to pay the fine. If you need additional time, please let me know. You can even set up a payment plan. I have limited options to collect. I can suspend your driver's license for a year. I can send your citation to collections. I'd rather not do that. If you just need additional time, just let me know. If you enter a not guilty plea, I'll order that you attend a pretrial conference at the next available court date. That will be March 6, 2019, the day at which time both you and the city attorney will meet to see if you can resolve your citation before it goes to trial. Pretrial conference I'll explain later, but basically it's a chance to tell your side of the story to the prosecutor to see if you can resolve it. Those of you here facing traffic offenses should understand that you cannot accumulate you lose the merit points upon convictions of most traffic offenses. If you lose 12 or more merit points in any 1 year period, you'll lose your license to drive in Wisconsin for a period of time. You'll also be fined. I'd like you to be aware of some of your rights before entering a plea. You have a right to ask for continuance. This means that your case be set over for another time, either to consult with a lawyer or for some other reason. This is a civil court. You're not entitled to a public defender, but you may hire an attorney at your own cost. You also have a right to trial. Please remember your rights when considering your plea. Any other rights?
Yes.
Okay. Those of you charged with operating a motor vehicle while under the influence are entitled to request a jury trial in the circuit court upon payment of the proper fees. All their cases will be handled in this court with the right to appeal my ruling to the circuit court.
This woman, it's a group of 3 defendants, and she's having problems breathing. She left her oxygen at home.
Should I call them first?
She's wondering if the 3 of them could
Yeah,
go
that's fine.
first. I'm sorry.
Okay, sure. She's number 8.
8, 9, and 10.
Oh, I see. Okay.
She's, I think, Johnson, Linda.
Okay. I'm going to call 3 cases at once. Lamont Brownridge, Linda Johnson, and Harold Emmons. You're the one having trouble? Okay. And you are, what's that, Miss Brownbridge?
No,
Linda.
Johnson.
Okay. Let me call that one first. Ms. Johnson, do I have your correct address on 1632 County Road B, Stoughton, Wisconsin?
Yes.
Okay. You received a citation for retail theft, intentionally taking less than $500. That citation carries a penalty of $187. No.
They already sent that to collections.
They,
Still try on them if they've been sent to collections.
this is for the municipal citation then.
Oh, okay.
So basically, in addition to the $187, and now the forfeiture range of this is $50 to $1,000. You're at $100 plus cost for a total forfeiture of $187. In addition to that, I can issue a restitution order that you pay restitution. With restitution, that means that for theft, you have to pay back the amount that was allegedly taken. Say if I in a store I steal a pack of cigarettes, they could make me pay restitution if I'm caught for $5. However, if it's been sent to collections, that means that you have to pay twice for the same thing. So if you told me it's sent to collections, what I would likely do is I would likely not hold off on I would not order restitution unless they asked me to. Okay. you understand what retail theft is?
Yeah.
Do you understand the forfeiture range as well? Do you understand the issue of restitution and collections? And you understand the forfeiture of $187? Okay, all right. Now, I'll take everybody at once. So you don't have any questions for me? All right. So then I'll go back to... And your name, sir, is Lamont Brownridge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do I have your correct address on County Road B in Stoughton as well?
Yes, sir.
All right. You've also been cited for retail theft, intentionally taking less than $500. Do you understand the nature of retail theft?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the forfeiture is $187. You understand that as well?
Yes, sir.
I know I explained all this, but I want to make sure I establish a record for all of them. All right. The forfeiture range on this is also $50 to $1,000, and you're at $100 plus costs. So you're not at the minimum, but you're at the low end of the range. You understand that as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I could also... Okay, I could also order restitution to you as well, but if the matter's been sent to collections, I would likely not order restitution unless I heard from the merchant. Do you understand that as well? Okay. Any questions for me?
No, sir.
All right. Third. And you're Harold Emmons? All right. Mr. Emmons, just give me a minute.
That's cool.
Do I have your correct address in County B as well? All right. Now, I said the same thing the other two, but I'll mention that to you as well. I want to make sure that everybody's appraised of, and advised of their rights. You've been, You've also been cited for retail theft, intentionally taking less than $500. Do you understand what retail theft is? Yeah. All right. And you understand that the forfeiture is $187? Yeah. Forfeiture range on this is $50 to $1,000, but you're at $100 plus cost. Do you understand that as well? All right. Now, I could normally take restitution, but I note that the three defendants are here together and that I've already advised them on the restitution and collections as well. So you're aware that the restitution could be ordered, but not likely in this case? Yeah. Okay. Do you have any questions for me? No. All right. With no questions, now's the time I'll take the plea, and I'll take the pleas one at a time. Ms. Johnson, to the citation of retail theft, what is your plea? Okay. You understand that with no contest plea, I will review the police report, and if there's a factual basis, I'll find you guilty? Okay. Mr. Brownridge?
Fine, Your Honor, no contest.
Okay. Mr. Ammons, what is your plea? Okay. To both Mr. Ammons and Mr. Brownridge, you understand that if you enter no contest plea, I'll review the police report, and if there's a factual basis, I'll find you guilty?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me review the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. Okay. I have read the police report. I do find a factual basis, except no contest plea for Ms. Johnson, Mr. Brownridge, and Mr. Ammons, and then find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on a sentence?
No, sir. No.
Okay. I do find the $187 to be appropriate in all three cases, and I'll go ahead and order that fine amount. Now, how much time do you need to pay?
Well, I'm on disability, so
Okay. How long do you think it will take?
maybe 2 months,
Okay.
3 months, maybe.
And you too?
About the same, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll give you 90 days to pay,
Oh, that'll be great.
and I'll give
that'd
you the
be
notice.
wonderful.
And if you need an additional time, there's a number on there you can call. You can schedule an appointment and appear in front of me again and ask for more time then. Okay. Any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay. My clerk is going to print out the forms. She'll give that to bailiff, and the bailiff will give that to you. Once you receive that, that will take care of it.
All
for
right,
this
you have a
evening.
nice day.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Oh,
Since the ticket was issued.
okay.
You would prefer to be called Kate?
Okay. Cade Alt. Cade, do I have your correct address in Garden Avenue in Stoughton?
Yes.
All right. You received a citation for possession of THC. This citation carries a penalty of $439. You understand what possession of THC is?
Yes.
Okay. You understand the elements of it as well that the city would have to prove?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I have, for possession of THC, I do have a policy in that. It's $439. However, if you complete either alcohol counseling or an alcohol and drug assessment, then I reduce it to $124.
Okay.
The idea of that is that I want to make sure that people know more about THC and what they're facing.
That's fine.
And I've got a suggested list of places you can complete the counseling. It's not inclusive. If you can find a comparable situation, that's fine.
Okay.
So, okay, you understand marijuana and the forfeiture on this is between $50,000 and $1,000. You're at $300 plus costs. Sure, not quite medium on that, but it is it's a significant fine. But I use kind of the carrot and stick approach then, so
Okay.
I understand that as well.
Yep.
Any questions regarding this or the alcohol treatment or counseling?
No, sir.
Okay. Now's the time I take your plea. Your three plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
Guilty.
Okay. You understand with a guilty plea, I'll review the police report. If there's a factual basis, I'll find you guilty.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea.
Okay.
Okay. I have reviewed the police report. I do find a factual basis, accept your guilty plea, and find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on a sentence?
Just a quick question, since I've never been in trouble before. If I do this drug court thing, does it just lessen my fine, or is there a chance that it could possibly take it off my record sooner?
No, it won't take it off your record. I found you guilty with that.
Right.
But this is a municipal fine.
Okay.
So this is a civil violation. So the way they explain it is if you ever have to fill out a job application and it says, have you ever been convicted of any felonies or misdemeanors? This is neither.
Okay.
This is similar to a traffic ticket then.
Okay.
So, and it's a departmental record within the city of Stoughton. It doesn't appear on, there's an online program called Circuit Court Automated
Yeah, the
Program.
CCAPs?
It doesn't show up on that because you have to be in circuit court for that to show up.
Okay,
We're
awesome.
outside of that.
Thank you.
So you'll be found, but I usually give them, what, 90 days?
90 days.
Okay, I'll give you 90 days to complete the alcohol or either counseling or drug assessments.
Okay.
I do find, what I'll do is I'll fine you $439, but I'll stay there for 90 days. In that, if you receive proof that you completed this, the forfeiture will be $124.
Okay.
Payable at the end of the 90 days.
Okay.
So in other words, make sure that when you complete this, you send in proof, because otherwise we don't know.
Okay.
Okay, any questions for me?
Then is there like a packet on where I can go for
Yes.
that drug? Okay, awesome.
You
Thank
may want
That's
to
it then.
hand that to him. So, there's the packet if you want to take a look at it.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Does
Thank
that
you.
answer all your questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that'll take care of it then. Thank you. Randall Roberts? Oh, I don't see him on here. He's not on my list. Ed's on the list. Just a minute, Mr. Roberts.
Should be,
I know, but he's not on the computer.
oh, not on the computer. Okay, yeah, that's a problem that didn't. I'll let me pull that up for you. Okay, it's a municipal citation written by,
Yeah, okay.
next state.
Okay, sure. Mr. Roberts, do I have your correct address on Garfield Street in Stoughton?
Well, it's a unique situation. It's a house that has two different addresses.
Okay. What is your correct
The
address?
legal property is 425 Garfield.
If we want to send you mail, where should we send it to?
You could send it, it's one mailbox. It's that or 603 South Madison.
Okay, so if we send something to you at the 425 Garfield Street, will you receive it?
Yes.
Okay, we'll use that as your address then. Okay, Mr. Roberts, you've been cited for public nuisance affecting health. This citation carries a penalty of $187. Do you understand what public nuisances affecting health is? If you would like, I can read you the ordinance.
I'm kind of in a,
Well, don't tell me too much, because the prosecutor's not here. If you tell me too much, I'm going to have to take myself off the case, and you have to go to another municipality.
I'm
That's-
not in, there were
hang on,
like
hang on,
three
hang on.
different categories.
Okay, so let me stop you there. So you understand, you want me to read the ordinance for the elements? Okay, all right, so the forfeiture ranges on this is from $20 to $1,000. You're at $100 plus cost. You're not at the minimum forfeiture, but you're close. Do you understand that as well?
Yes.
Okay, so in other words, you could be fined less, but you could also be fined more on this as well. You understand that?
Well, except that part of this is that it could be something that's
Hang on, don't-
assessed
don't-
every day.
Okay, right, okay, could be penalties every day, but I only have the one citation in front of me. That's all I'm looking at, and that's all I know about this case, so. Okay, so you understand. Do you have any questions for me?
Well, I've been here before.
I don't remember, so that's
I'm,
good.
well, a different judge. I'm not the same person. I've had health conditions.
Okay, so what would, let me stop you. Do you have enough information where you believe you can enter a plea at this time?
Yes.
Okay, and your three plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
Can I add something?
No, because if I hear that, I have to remove myself from the case, because I can't, it's what's called an ex parte contact. So if I hear something from one side and not the other, I would be considered biased and I wouldn't be able to hear the case then.
I will plead not guilty.
Okay, with a not guilty plea, we'll schedule this matter for a pretrial conference, and we'll give you the notice of that pretrial conference in just a minute. Now, when you enter a not guilty plea, I'm ordering that you attend a pretrial conference with the city attorney. And that'll be scheduled on March 6th, and you'll get that notice shortly. Now, it's a chance to resolve the case, so bring whatever documents or witnesses might help your case in your meeting. The meeting is held, the conference is held downstairs on the first floor. You go through the second set of doors, and there'll be a conference room on your left that will be marked pretrial conference. I always advise that people go take a look at the room before they leave. That way they know where it is. And third, if you do not appear, city attorney will tell me you didn't appear, and I'll find you default, and I'll find you guilty. Okay, any questions for me regarding the pretrial conference?
Have we finished? Can I have a remark or?
No, because I've entered not guilty, but I can't hear it then. If you resolve it with the city attorney, you want to come back and tell me about it, you can feel free at that time.
It's certainly.
Okay.
Can I step back?
Yes, we're all done then, so that will
It's,
take care of this evening.
It's, when I said I'm not the same medical person, I haven't watched the news today. I think I was a co-worker of the person that was killed in that train crash last
Oh,
night.
okay, okay,
So,
okay,
I can't imagine anything more terrifying.
okay, I'll go take a look. I haven't heard about that yet, so I'll have to go take a look at that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Roberts. Matthew Vila? Mr. Vila, do I have your correct address on Macomb Road in Stoughton?
Yes.
All right. You received a couple citations. The first one is failure to yield while making a left-hand turn. That
Yes.
citation carries a penalty of $98.80 and 4 demerit points issued your driver's license. Now, is that on the list? This is a failure to yield. So if you're found guilty of a failure to yield, the Department of Transportation will mandate that you take a safety class. It's something out of my control. It's just something if you're found guilty of, they send you a notice saying you've got to take this, otherwise your license will be suspended.
Okay.
So just I want you to be aware of that. Do you understand what failure to yield while making a left-hand turn is?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the forfeiture range on this is as follows. You're at $30 plus cost. And I always have to advise defendants of the total range, so that way it can go up or go down, or if they receive another citation like this. Okay. Forfeiture range on this is $20 to $50. So you're at $30 plus cost. You're not the minimum, but you're close to the minimum as well. You understand that as well?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions regarding that citation?
Nope.
All right. Next citation is operating a motor vehicle without insurance. That citation carries a penalty of $124 and 0 demerit points. Now, the failure to yield covered was 4 points. This one is 0. You understand what operating a motor vehicle without insurance is?
Yes.
All right. Forfeiture range on this is as follows. $0 to $500, and you're at $50 plus cost. Again, not quite at the minimum, but on the low end as well. Okay. Any questions regarding this citation?
Nope.
Now's the time I take your plea. What's that?
Guilty.
You understand with a guilty plea, I must find you guilty? I'll review the police report, I'm gonna make sure of factual basis, but odds are that I'll find you guilty. You understand that? You understand that?
Yes.
And you also understand that you will have to take a class to the DOT as well?
Yes.
All right. Let me review the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. Okay, I have reviewed the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea, accept your guilty plea, and find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say to me before I decide on a sentence? How come you appeared today? Oh, you appeared because it was a mandatory appearance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I want to make sure that people are aware of the class. That's why I've made it a mandatory appearance. Okay, with no further comments, I do find the forfeitures to be appropriate. I'll go ahead and fine you $98.80 for the failure to yield, and then $124 for the operating motor vehicle without insurance. How much time do you need to pay?
Can I get maybe 1 month, 30 days?
Yeah, I'll automatically give 30 days.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so I always give 30 days to pay. That's fine?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make sure that you pay within 30 days. I'll schedule that 30 days from today. I'll give you the notice in just a minute. And I'll make sure that you pay, because if you don't pay, I gotta suspend your driver's license, and I'd rather not do that then. So if you need additional time, there's a number on the form that you can just call then.
Okay.
Okay, any questions? Once the bailiff gives you these form, that will take care of it for this evening then. Thank you. This is, two pass conditions on the list too. Ashley Stoughton? Ms. Stoughton, do I have your correct address on Linnerud Road here in Stoughton?
Yes.
All right. You were cited for driving too fast for conditions. That citation carries a penalty $136.60 and 4 demerit points issued your driver's license. Do you have a probationary license?
I do not.
Okay, so you don't have to worry about points doubling anymore.
Yep, no, I'm good.
I just wanted to make sure. The forfeiture,
I don't see it on the list, 87.
yeah, 89.
87
Yeah,
days.
okay, good. Make sure we see that again. There's certain citations that require a class, but this is not one of them. That's a DOT class. Forfeiture range on this is, it's going to be, oh, I don't want to guess. I want to make sure I tell you accurately. $40 to $300, and you're at $60 plus cost, so not quite at the minimum, but on the low end as well. Okay. Do you understand what driving too fast for conditions is?
Yes.
And then 40 merit points?
Yes.
Any questions for me?
I don't think so.
Now's the time I take your plea. Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
Okay. You understand with no contest plea, I'll review the police report, and if there's a factual basis, I'll find you guilty?
Yep.
All right, let me read the police report. I'll make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. Okay. I have reviewed the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea, accept your no contest plea, and find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on a sentence?
I don't think so.
Okay. How come you appeared tonight? You didn't, it was not a mandatory appearance.
Yeah, no, I had like, I had caused an accident sort of, and I had slid through a stop sign, and I normally do not drive where I was driving or drive in those kind of conditions, but I had to drop some kids off at school.
Okay.
So I wanted to appear to see if there's any chance I could get points or the fine lowered.
I can't reduce the points. If you wanted to reduce the points, you could enter a not guilty plea and talk to the prosecutor. But I'm willing. How is your driving record?
I've only had one speeding ticket, and it was a while ago. Other than that,
How much is a while?
couple years. I can't exactly remember.
Okay, it was 17. Okay. You know what, because of that, because you appeared today, I can drop it to the minimum forfeiture, which would be $40 plus cost is $111.40.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Sure. How much time do you need to pay for that?
I can pay it today if possible.
I'll give you 30 days.
Okay.
So I'll give you the form that, because if you can pay at the dispatch window, but I'll give you the form that way, because
Okay.
they'll still have $136.60. You give them
Okay.
the form, and you can just make the payment for $111.40 then, so.
Sounds good. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Once you receive that from the bailiff, that will take care of it this evening then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sean Rott? Or Rote? How do you say your last name?
Road.
Okay. Sorry, I got it right the second time, I apologize.
That's fine.
Mr. Rote, do I have your correct address on Highland Drive in Stoughton?
Yes.
All right. Received a couple citations. The first one is for possession of drug paraphernalia. That citation carries a penalty of $187. Do you understand what possession of drug paraphernalia is? You have any questions regarding the elements?
No, thank you.
Forfeiture range on this is $50 to $1,000. You're at $100 plus cost. Understand that as well?
Yes, sir.
All right. Second citation is for, I don't think I have it up. Do I, Marcia? Probably Marcia's up. I don't have the second one, violation. The other one is violate probationary license restrictions. It's likely to be a $124 forfeiture. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. That's weird.
Did the universe blink out for a second?
TV's on live TV.
Computers are always a little tricky then, so. All right, this site, probationary license of operating Class V with other persons and vehicles, the citation. That carries a penalty of $124 and 3 demerit points issued your driver's license. Do you have a probationary license?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, obviously, if you got the citation then. So if this is the first time you get with a probation license, a moving violation, the first time it doesn't change, but the second or citation thereafter, the point total is double. Understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to make sure people are aware of their rights. All right, the forfeiture range on this is it's $50 to $100. You're at the minimum $50 plus cost. Any questions regarding this citation?
Nope.
Any questions for me regarding either of these two citations?
Not really.
Now's the time I take your plea. Guilty, no
Uh,
contest, or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Okay. With a not guilty plea, we'll schedule this matter for a pretrial conference on March 6th. I'll give you the notice in just a minute. You've heard this before, but I want to make sure that everybody hears it as well. Chance to tell you, I'm ordering that you attend, but if you don't appear, the city attorney will tell me you didn't appear. I'll find you default, and I'll find you guilty and impose those forfeitures.
All right.
Chance to tell your side of the story, so bring whatever witnesses or documents might help your case. And I always advise that people go take a look at the room before you leave. Downstairs to the second set of door, conference room on your left, marked pretrial conferences.
All right.
Any
Thank
questions?
you. Nope.
The bailiff will give you that notice, and then you're free to go. Thank you. thank you. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Adrian Rodriguez. Did I say your name correctly? Okay. Adrian, you've received 2 citations. The first one is for operating motor vehicle without proof of insurance. That citation carries a penalty of $10. You understand what operating motor vehicle without proof of insurance is? Okay, is that a yes?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm being recorded. This is going, so we're creating a transcript. So if I make a mistake and you want to appeal me, we have to create a clear record. Otherwise, that if I make a mistake, they won't have a record and they won't be able to review if I did a good job or not. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So the forfeiture on this is $10. Any questions regarding this citation? All right. Second citation is for possession of THC. All right. That citation carries a penalty of $439. The forfeiture range on this is $50 to $1,000. You're at $300 plus costs. So you're probably about the medium range of this citation. Do you understand what possession of THC is? Is that yes? Okay. Now, for the possession of THC, I usually give you 90 days. And if you complete in any alcohol counseling or alcohol assessment, alcohol or drug assessment or alcohol drug counseling, what I do is I reduce the forfeiture from $439 to $124. Just want to make sure that I want to encourage people to just read up on this a little bit and determine if they have any issues with it. You understand that as well?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions for me?
No.
Now's the time I take your plea. Guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
Guilty.
Okay. You understand with a guilty plea, I must find you guilty?
Yeah.
Let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. Okay, I have read the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea, accept your guilty plea and find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on a sentence?
No.
Okay. For the operating motor vehicle without a proof of insurance, I find the $10 forfeiture is appropriate. For the possession of marijuana, I will fine you $439, but I will stay that fine. In other words, hold off on doing anything. I'll give you 90 days to either complete alcohol assessment or alcohol counseling. When you get that, if you complete the alcohol counseling, I'll give you a packet. Make sure that somebody sends us proof of completion. That way I know that you've taken the class. Okay? Any questions for me?
No.
All right, so 90 days to pay both, even with the $10. That way, any questions, there'll be a note on that. You can just call if you need more time or for whatever reason can't get into the classes then. All right, that will take care of it this evening. Thank you. Let me know when you're ready. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Michael Walls. Okay. Mr. Walls, do I have your correct address on Buckingham and Stoughton?
Yes.
All right. You received 2 citations. Let's go through the smaller one first. The first one is for operating after suspension. That citation carries a penalty of $124 and 3 demerit points issued your driver's license. Do you understand? Understand what operating after suspension is?
Yes.
Okay. Now the penalty on this is as follows. It's a wide range. It kind of defaults to this. It's $50 to $200, and you're at $50 plus cost. You're at the minimum forfeiture from the operating after suspension. Okay, now the other one is a operating motor vehicle while under the influence of an intoxicant. Now that citation carries the following penalties: carries a penalty of $861, 6 demerit points, issued your driver's license. If you're found guilty, you have to attend an alcohol and drug assessment class, and your driver's license will be revoked between 6 and 9 months. Now, the 6 to 9 months for that, well, the way I treat that is that if there was, depends on your blood alcohol level. If you're below 1.5, it's usually 6. If you're 1.5 to a 2, it's 7. If you're 0.2 or above, it's 8 months. If there's any bad driving, I usually add a month to that revocation period. In addition, if your blood alcohol content was a 1.5 or higher, I must order an interlock ignition device be installed in all vehicles registered in your name for a period of 12 months. Now, there is a $50 surcharge on that as well. That would, let's see. Now, if there was a refusal, and usually there's a companion ticket for prohibited alcohol concentration. A refusal, you are revoked for 1 year, and the IID conditions would also apply. 12 months. You know what an IID is? It's an interlock ignition device. It's a device that you have to blow into in order to start your car. They also have random stops on that as well. Okay. All right, so and if it was a revocation, I have to order an interlock ignition device as well. And for the revocation, or with the refusal, I'm sorry, I said revocation before. With refusal, the revocation period is 12 months. You understand that as well?
Yes.
Okay. All right, any questions regarding the 6 to 9 month driver's license revocation period?
No.
Any questions regarding the IID?
No.
Any questions regarding if there was a refusal?
No.
Any questions regarding the fines or an AODA requirements?
No.
Any questions for me at all?
I just need a payment plan.
Okay, well, I have to take a plea first.
Okay.
Now's the time to take a plea. Your 3 plea options would be
No
guilty, no
contest.
contest, or not guilty. I'm sorry?
No contest.
You understand with no contest plea, I must find you guilty?
Yes.
Let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. And that's a no contest plea to both citations?
Yes.
All right. Okay. I'll make the following findings. I have read the police report. I do find a factual basis, accept your guilty plea. Was it, yeah, guilty plea and find, was it no contest or guilty?
No contest.
No contest plea and find you guilty. For the operating after suspension, I do find that, actually, anything I'd say before I decide on the sentence?
No.
Okay. I do find the operating after suspension to be appropriate. I'll fine you $124 and 3 demerit points issued your driver's license. As far as the OWI, I will make the finding that this was a refusal. So with a refusal, your driver's license will be revoked for 1 year. I also, on a refusal, have to order an interlock ignition device be installed in all vehicles registered in your name for a period of 12 months with a $50 surcharge. The face amount of the citation, I will find that that is appropriate, and that will be of,
It's 50.
yeah, $861 plus the $50 surcharge would be $911. Let's see, I found refused on 12. You'll have to attend alcohol and drug assessment upon the completion, or you have to attend alcohol and driver's license to get your license back. Let's see, so fine. refusing for AODA. Okay, and those are my findings. I've got a couple forms for you to fill out if you want to step forward. You want me to date the other one? Actually, why don't you date them both? Okay, I will sign both of these. You keep one and I'll keep one. Call that number, okay? How much time do you need to pay?
I was thinking maybe I could pay like $100 a month.
Okay.
Oh, I can send them the paperwork?
Yeah,
for
we'll send
that?
you the paperwork, accepting $100 going forward then, so. Okay, anything else? Here's this, here's all your packet of information. We'll send you confirmation, $100 per month, yes?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks. Here's this. Good evening, how are you?
Good evening. Thank you.
See, where are we at? Colin Booser?
It's Pleasant Springs.
Right. Also, it's not gonna be on here. Just a minute, Mr. Booser. Did I say that correctly?
Buser?
Buser, thank you. Do I have your correct address on Page Street in Stoughton?
Yes.
Okay. Two citations. First one is failure to stop at a stop sign. This citation carries a penalty of $98.80 and 3 demerit points issued your driver's license. Do you understand what failing to stop at a stop sign is?
Yep.
I see that list again. Okay. Forfeiture range on this is,
Have it stapled to your, or in the front.
okay, thank, oh, my book, okay.
Yeah.
There's certain class citations that you have to take a class to the DOT. I want to make sure that this
Okay.
is not one of them. Actually, it is. Yeah. So if you're found guilty of this one, what happens is that it's outside of my control, but the DOT will mandate that you take a safety class
Okay.
in order to maintain
That's
your
right.
license. And forfeiture range on this is $20 to $40, so you're right in the middle of the bracket then. Any questions regarding the element or anything else regarding the citation?
Nope.
Okay. Second citation is operating motor vehicle without proof of insurance. Do you understand what operating motor vehicle without proof of insurance is?
Yes.
That citation carries a penalty of $10. Okay? Any questions for me?
Nope.
Now's the time I take your plea. Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest?
You understand with no contest plea, I must find you guilty of both?
Yes.
Let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. You know, I realize that you have to take the class to the DOT as well?
Yes.
All right. I have read the police report. I do find a factual basis. So accept your no contest plea and find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on the sentence?
No.
Okay. I do find the forfeitures to be appropriate for both, for $98.80 and $10. How much time do you need to pay?
Friday?
Okay, I'll give you 30 days. You can just mail in payment as indicated. I'll give you that form. Once you get the form, that will take care of it this
All right,
evening.
thank you.
Okay, next is Hezuale Pulande Walanda. Did I say that correctly? How do you say it?
Hezue?
Hezue
Yeah, Walada.
Walanda.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Mr. Walanda, do I have your correct address on Pulling Street in Madison?
Yes.
All right. You've been cited for exceeding the speed zones 30 to 34 miles an hour over the limit. That citation carries a penalty of $218.50 and 6 demerit points issued to your driver's license. This is the city attorney right here.
Okay.
Normally, I give you a 10-mile-an-hour leeway, but that's pretty fast. Would there be any objections to reducing this to a 19 over?
No objection.
Okay. Normally, I give a 10-mile-an-hour leeway, but this is, I don't usually see 32 over then. I give a 10-mile-an-hour leeway usually for these citations, and I'll note that this was a 25, so we don't have to worry about the 25 over. If you're in a 55 or 65-mile-an-hour zone, and you go more than 25 over, you can have your license suspended for 15 days. But you weren't in that, you were in a 25-mile-an-hour zone. So instead of 32 over, what I usually offer with this would be 4 points and 19 over instead of 6 points and 32 over. Do you understand that? Okay. Do you understand what speeding is?
Yes.
Forfeiture on this is $30 to $300, but because this is a $125 forfeiture plus cost. Is what I'm looking at. Any questions regarding this citation?
No.
Okay. So I will, to the amended citation of 19 over for 4 points and a forfeiture of $218.50, what is your plea?
Not confess?
Okay. You understand with a no contest plea, I must find you guilty?
Yes.
All right, let me review the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. Okay, I have reviewed the police report, do find a factual basis, accept your no contest plea and find you guilty of speeding 19 miles over the limit for 4 points and a forfeiture of $218.50. Do you need time to pay?
Yes. Like 90 days?
90 days? Okay, I'll grant you 90 days to pay. We'll give you the notice in just a minute. But I have to ask, how come you're going so fast?
The thing is, like, if you look at my address, I don't live in Stoughton, and my cousin, like, he was drunk. So, and if you look at the time, it was like around like 2 a.m. in the morning.
Okay,
So, the barman have to call me. I was asleep at that time. They have to call me, and I have to drive all the way up here to pick him up.
okay,
So when I was going, like, I wasn't really paying really attention on my dashboard until the police, I saw the lights.
okay. Just be careful, please, because that's pretty fast, and especially at that time of night, you're more likely to be pulled over if you're going that fast. So, but I don't see any other citations, so you weren't drinking or doing anything else. You were just speeding.
I was just paying like a good Samaritan.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. No good deed goes unpunished, right? Right. Okay. All right. So 90 days to pay. The bailiff will show you where to pay, and that will take care of it then.
Thank you.
Grant Boyce. Oh, Pleasant Springs. Thank you for waiting, Mr. Boyce.
That's Bryce.
Bryce?
Yeah. Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bryce, yeah. I read it wrong. I said Grant Boyce. It's Bryce Grant. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
You know what?
You're the second person in my life to mess that up, so.
Only second, okay.
I got called Brisk Grunt once.
Okay. Do I have your correct address on Park Drive in Marshall?
Yeah.
All right. You received a citation for speeding in a 55 zone, 11 to 15 over. That citation carries a penalty of $98.80 and 4 demerit points issued to your driver's license. You understand all that? Okay. Is that yes?
Yes.
All right.
Sorry.
What I do for these, I give a 10-mile-an-hour leeway. So I would amend this to 1 to 9 over, or actually 1 to 10 over, which would be 3 points instead of 4. Same forfeiture, $98.80. $98.80 is actually $30 plus cost, and that's the minimum on this. It's $30 to $300. So, okay, so you understand that my deal. I give a 10-mile-an-hour break. All right. Any questions for me?
No.
Now's the time I take your plea. What is your plea to speeding 1 to 10 over, 3 points, $98.80?
No contest.
Okay, you understand with no contest plea, I must find you guilty?
Yes, sir.
Let me read
Yes,
the
Your
police
Honor.
report. I want to make sure I have a, sir is fine.
Okay.
Perfectly acceptable call.
I thought you were supposed to call judges Your Honor. so-
Sometimes, but
Okay.
sir works as well. I have plead support, I do find a factual basis, I'll accept your no contest plea and find you guilty to speeding 1 to 10 over 3 points to 9880. Mr. Grant, how much time do you need to pay?
I can pay now.
Okay, I'll give you the form. If you don't get it, I'll give you 30 days, but you can take that to the dispatch window, just present it to them and make payment.
Don't I get a chance to say anything?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's just annoying because it's not annoying, this isn't, but I always tell my wife, don't speed, and I actually do the math of how much, because it's like 1 minute and 37 seconds that you get fast, and then I get a ticket, and it's just, yeah. But anyways, he does a great job, so.
Okay.
I think you were the one who pulled me over, right?
No,
I thought the
Pleasant
police
Springs.
officer on there had to pull me over, but, yeah.
Dane County Sheriff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes I cut people off.
And I think my last ticket was 2015. Can you
Oh.
see on there?
Actually,
I was trying to keep my record perfect. It's, yeah.
Yeah, I can look that up for you. Yeah, ID 1115.
Yeah.
What is ID? Do we know what ID stands for? I don't even know.
Inattentive, maybe?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
kind of
sure,
driving.
yeah, I was going to get married and I dropped my phone and looked down and I crashed into somebody, but, yeah. I've been married for 3-something years, but that was the night before my wedding.
Always
Yeah.
blame the wife.
No, it was not my wife's fault. I would not blame my wife. Don't let that get out.
Yeah, no, I think it would. So that'll take care of it then. So thanks for coming in.
Okay,
So,
thank you. Have a
Take
good
care.
Defaults.
Oh, yeah. We'll do the pre-trials first. I was really looking forward to that OWI
I
case.
know. It will be sometime soon.
No, July.
Oh, so not even that soon.
No, not
Okay.
soon.
And then we'll have one more trial tonight. Not on the snow emergency. No, not this evening, but scheduled later. I
Oh, okay.
apologize. Should be as clear as possible.
Okay, for the first one that's confidential, no change to its habitual truancy, possession of marijuana.
Yeah. Yeah, and so the plan is to complete AODA and to comply with the agreement for truancy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and sign that. Oh, okay. Is this, but it's a snow parking night? Yeah, here we
It
go.
was. It became an improper parking night.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to be the prosecutor, and I'd always be thrilled when they would get 2 of them, because then you could dismiss one and have
Right,
them plead
it
the
made
second.
it easy,
then, so.
yes.
And people get more irate over parking tickets and barking dogs than anything else.
Absolutely. It gets very personal.
Okay, good. Oh, okay. One was dismissed, I can move it, especially
Yeah,
if they couldn't move
there
the
was definitely sufficient facts, yeah.
car. Yeah, okay, good. Oh, it wasn't on a trial. I thought it was gonna be one parking trial. But no, okay, okay, good. All right, approved, thank you.
Thank you.
On that, there was a settlement made, and that's the Gardner.
Yes.
Hmm? Okay, good.
retail theft that happened last year. She's looking for having an indigency hearing. She's living in the nursing home Nazareth here. She's not an older woman. I think it's a handicapped issue. She was scheduled November for a hearing. She had to change that. I rescheduled it to January, and now tonight again.
She can't make it. Here's
I'm
what I would
wondering how
suggest
you
to her
want
for an indigency hearing, if she's in the if she's at Nazareth.
Correct.
Okay. I will, unless you have any objections, probably send her a note just indicating, fill out the financial disclosure statement, send it to us, especially if she has ambulatory issues.
She
and then,
said she could appear by phone if you approve that.
Yeah.
If you want to ask
or
her.
just have her complete the financial disclosure statement and mail it to us, and I'll take it, we can just have a hearing, and I'll call her if I need any additional
Okay.
testimony.
All right.
That way she'll be able
All
to cover
right.
it, so.
That's it.
Anything else from the city?
Nope.
All
Thank
right.
you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. We'll go ahead and do the defaults. Ready? Lucky Detective Hill did not have to remind me that tonight. Yep. Charles Anderson is a bond forfeiture. James Anderson is a default judgment. Ty Annan is a default judgment. Adam Arndt is a default judgment. Ryan Belaine is a default judgment. Cody Ballwig is a bond forfeiture. Aaron Barrett Ellison is a bond forfeiture. Tracy Bellafuel is a bond forfeiture. Seth Christensen is a default judgment on both citations. Lindsay Clark is a default judgment. Latoya DiRenzo is a default judgment on both citations. Thomas Drierson is a default judgment. 1, 2, 3, on 4. Jennifer Fenrick is a default judgment. Ian Foster is a default judgment. Eugene Freedy is a bond forfeiture. Alexander Fry is a default judgment. Brian Fuller is a default judgment on both. Yavanta Gebhardt McIntyre is a default judgment on both. Vernon Green is a bond forfeiture. Doug Grittenholm is a bond forfeiture. Don Gunsolis is a default judgment. James Hammis is a default judgment on both citations. Graham Harrison is a default judgment. Ronald Heinzeroth, based upon the motion of the city, the case is dismissed. Larry Hendrickson is a bond forfeiture. Virginia Hindies is a default judgment on all 3 citations. Tyler Horton is a default judgment. No restitution. It's a Walmart case. Ashley Huguet is a bond forfeiture. Wendy Iverson is a bond forfeiture. Keith Jackson is a bond forfeiture. Norlisha Jackson is a default judgment. Lisa Johnson is a default judgment. Keith Kleisch is a default judgment on both citations. Kariga Lee is a default judgment on both citations. Mary Leonard is a bond forfeiture. Sean Martin is a default judgment on all 3 citations. Allison Faye Michaeluk is a default judgment. Tiffany Millard is a default judgment on both citations. Adriana Morales is a default judgment on all 3. Raphael Murphy is a default judgment on all 3 citations. Todd Nelson is a default judgment. Douglas Newton is a bond forfeiture. Brant Nicholson is a bond forfeiture. Jimmy Nicholson is a default judgment. Rolando Oates is a default judgment. Hannah Olson is a bond forfeiture. Olika Parker is a default judgment. Gina Peely is a bond forfeiture. Nicholas Reedy is a default judgment. Adam Rushline is a bond forfeiture. Rebecca Roach is a default judgment. Eric Rodriguez Lopez is a default judgment. Daniel Rose, based upon the motion of the city, the case is dismissed. Citations dismissed. Joseph Sarbacher is a bond forfeiture. Hunter Sainer is a default judgment. Linda Schmidt is a bond forfeiture. Diana Schottlander is a default judgment. Jacob Schultz is a bond forfeiture on both citations. Bryman Simonson is a default judgment on all 3 citations. David Selbo is a bond forfeiture. Nathaniel Schaefer is a bond forfeiture. Sharkira Sokan is a default judgment. Brooke Stevens is a default judgment. Aaron Thompson is a bond forfeiture. Aiden Trainer is a bond forfeiture. Andrew Watts is a default judgment. Gabriel Wild is a default judgment on the motor vehicle without proof of insurance and a bond forfeiture on the violate GDL restrictions. And Phyllis Wisden is a default judgment. Anything else? All right, thank you, everybody. Court's adjourned.